Hi, Lloyd.
Hi.
How's it going?
I'm good. I'm here.
Your apartment is so well designed.
Thank you. It's this is actually my roommate's room slash living room, but she's out of town, so I'm just up in here.
Got it. Got all that natural light.
Yes.
Why don't we start at the beginning? Where did you come from, Lloyd? What was your early childhood training and how did you get to be how did you get to be you?
Okay, well, I was born in London, born in England, and raised in Miami, Florida. And hence the accent is gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm British. And I went to New World School of the Arts, and that's where I got my degree and training from. And I did summer programs at Dance Theater of Harlem, Alvin Ailey, and the Martha Graham School. And I've been in the Graham Company since 2005.
Yeah, New World, is that where you were introduced to the Graham technique?
Pretty much. I heard about Graham because my dance story is a little bit off, I think, but like I started dancing when I was little,
Mhm.
and then I took a break all throughout high school.
I see.
But growing up, I heard a little bit about Martha Graham, but just a name.
Right.
And then once I got into New World, it was just like in my face.
What was your early dance? Did you go to a
In
school?
Miami, I went to Norland Magnet Middle School, and we had ballet and jazz, and it was kind of like a mishmash of every technique. But it wasn't until I got to New World where it was like we had Lamone and Graham and
So that's interesting. You never went to a sort of like local dance studio as most people.
oh yeah, for sure. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I went to Thomas Armour Youth Ballet and Mencia Piqueras School of Ballet
Uh-huh. So
in
you
Miami, Florida.
so you really started with a sort of classical foundation.
Yeah, but I was like real behind.
Okay.
So
No, it's interesting because most people, they take a tap class when they're three, and they grow up at the same studio through high school, and you sort of seem to have come around it from many different
yeah,
venture points.
a whole lot of angles.
Yeah, a whole lot of angles. And did you always know that modern dance was going to be a crutch for you? Were you like doing the Graham technique, being like, this is it? Or how did that?
I enjoyed it, but actually I really was going for ballet.
Huh.
Like I was really hoping for DTH
Mm-hmm.
because the first two summers, the my second and my third summer at New World, I did DTH summer program, and I got really really hooked on it, and I just loved their message, and I was hoping for that. But my last summer there was right before they shut down, so
Oh.
yeah. So then I was
We
like,
can't do it
okay,
then.
that's not happening.
Yeah.
But the whole time, like I did feel a connection to Graham,
Mhm.
but yeah, it wasn't until like senior year I was like, I feel like I would actually want to go for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you did.
Yeah, and I mean, luckily for us at New World, our teacher, Peter London, he was a former principal of the company. And I mean, through that, like he would bring in company members, and the company actually came down to perform a few times at New World. So it was just like in our faces all the time. So I just, I connected to it.
And I wonder if you could talk a little bit about dancing and being in a company that has existed for so long in a technique that is widely considered, the foundation of American modern dance. If you can talk a little bit about that lineage and how that technique and sort of part of dance education and the dance world is passed along.
Mm. Well, I mean, I love the Graham technique
Mm.
and I love the work. So it's definitely a proud feeling to be a part of it. It's hard as hell.
Yeah. It
It's
is really it's funny when I didn't take Graham until college, and I didn't know that my freshman year of one of my modern classes, my freshman year, was going to be spent on the floor. It was, I swear to God, it was like May 1st, and Sharice was like, stand up, and everyone was like, no, what are you talking about? I had no idea that was part of it. You know, that was like,
Wait, you thought it was just floor work?
I mean, no, I knew we'd get up eventually, but like, I didn't know that you needed the foundation of it, and we were going to spend almost an entire year of college dance training on the floor, learning the
Yeah,
floor.
Therese don't play.
No,
So,
she doesn't. But it's the bedrock of the technique, and I didn't know. I'd never taken modern before. I was like, what's this thing? I grew up. I didn't have a like I mentioned. I didn't have a Graham technique. Can you walk us through the steps of it and why it's still so beneficial and transformative?
I'm God, that's a big. Well, the technique itself is like, when she started it, n- you know, she was basically revolting against everything that was done during that time. So, the swans and the princesses and all that stuff, and she was just like, I'm gonna be barefoot on the floor. I'm gonna
Yeah,
flex my foot, like,
free. Yeah.
yeah, and show like real life emotion. And I really feel like, yes, the technique, yes, you have these shapes that you have to make and lines and whatnot, but for me, the overall message that I get from her technique is just a a sense of humanity, I
Hmm.
guess I would say. Like, you really have to be in tune with yourself in order for the technique to work. The inhale, the exhale for contraction, and how does that make your body form into the next movement. So,
It's
and we start on the floor and
very,
we go to standing and across the floor. So
it's very grounded and it's very physical, and there's something about the Graham technique where can't you can't do it halfway. You know, if you walk into a Graham class and you're like, you're not feeling it or whatever, it's like 10 minutes in, you have to
yeah.
for it to work, and there's something so powerful about
Yeah, but and I mean, because it comes
that.
from your like your pelvis,
Yeah.
pelvic truth, like
Hmm.
from your center, like there's no lie right there. And
Absolutely.
if you try and go around it, it's just so very clear.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
Baker.
Totally. And what I always find so interesting about it is that it was, this technique was created in all the sort of classic modern techniques that exist today. They were created to train people how to do specific choreography. She was a choreographer and wanted people to dance a certain way based off the things she was making. So she had to make up a whole class
Yeah.
and a whole system to get her artistic vision across. So it's, to me, she was always more than just a choreographer. She was an educator, she was an innovator, she was a game changer. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
for sure. I mean, like, sometimes it's amazing to watch all the different interviews that have been done in the past, or sometimes artistic director Janet, she talks about the people that have come from Graham,
Mhm.
and you see it in their work. Like, you see the little glimpses of it and you're like, wow, it totally makes sense. And at least for me right now, like, I've been taking a lot of Cunningham classes lately, and it's really tricky because I'm like, oh, that's kind of like this, but completely not. But
For sure. You see the influence there.
yeah, yeah.
Now the company's has been around for
I think we just started our 94th year.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
94th season. So something that has really intrigued me lately is the amount of new work and commissions that you guys get to do. So you're sort of operating under this model of sustaining the classic gram works and sustaining the technique and keeping it going, but also sort of being on the forefront of innovating and bringing that into the House of Martha. Can you talk about how working with different choreographers and, I think about this as a way of like younger dance students who get to work with a lot of different choreographers and teachers at their studio, and then sometimes like a guest can come in and you have to like rethink everything immediately, and I wonder if there's some similarities there of having to work with a lot of different people.
It's fun. I mean, I actually feel a little bit lucky. My first 2 years there, I only had Graham. The company had worked before with like Twyla and Robert Wilson, but I only had Graham, and I thought that was really I call it like boot camp period, because I was an apprentice and it was awesome. And then little by little, she started bringing in choreographers and the lamentation variations, and but it's awesome. I mean, it's always great to be in a room with a living choreographer and you're feeding off of each other, and it's good. It's a good feeling, especially if they want to be there, if they appreciate like how we move and what we do.
Right.
So
do you find that you have to when you're in a new process with a choreographer, that you are sort of a chameleon, where you kind of strip away a little bit of that classic Graham-isms to work with someone, or is there always still a little bit in there?
I mean, I feel like it's always kind of in you. But it's fun to have all these different choreographers come in, and they all are completely different, and you have to read their mind and move how they're moving, and it's cool. And sometimes, like I said, it's still in you, so they might call you out every once in a while, and like,
right,
wow, Martha, like, and I'm like, I'm sorry.
You throw a tilt in, and it's like, okay, they're the most impressive things in the entire world.
A little habit. So it's
and cool. When you've been guesting in Europe, can you talk a little bit about that and what the difference between working in Europe is versus working in New York?
Well, that was like mind-blowing for me. Royal Ballet of Flanders, artistic director Sidi Larbi Shikawi, but he asked me to come in and guest for one of his pieces, his ballet's Mea Culpa. And I was there for a couple of months, and it was great. I mean, first of all, I was just gagged that he even called me, because I was like, this back is not broken. Like,
totally.
The leg is not here, but
this stuff is so slippery.
Yeah, but which I love, because 2 years prior he choreographed on us at Graham, so we I got a taste of it, a preview of him and his work. So to be completely in his world was great. The dancers were gorgeous, and the work I really appreciated and love. I really enjoy his movement vocabulary, and he's very what I appreciate the most from him is that he's very thoughtful. So he really takes time to like appreciate you and what you can bring to his work and your message.
I love that, because I found, and this is something that I try to bring into my teaching, make it a mission and a core value of my teaching, is that someone who can really see you and get something out of you and take the time to highlight your strengths as a person and as a dancer, I've just found that positive reinforcement and that connection can do so much good for students, people, humanity, you know. And I don't know, when people do that to me, I find that I'm less vulnerable and I'm much more open in a process.
Yeah, for sure. I love it, especially if it's coming from a good place.
Right.
And I mean, like, for example, I think it was like my first week there or something like that. He was like, "You think too much." And I was like, "You're right. Yes."
Totally.
And that kind of like that relaxed me. I try to keep it in my mind for the rest of the rest of my time there. It's just because, you know, it's great to have that help there.
Could you tell me a little bit about some choreographers that are interesting to you, that keep you inspired? That I know the internet is like, it's so valuable right now. I wonder if there's like some YouTube clips or some music or things that you're just like, oh, I have to share this.
I would say, I mean, I really love City Larby.
Yeah.
I love his work. Nacho Duato, he's not, from what I know, he's not really choreographing right now, but he came to Graham and I really love working with him.
Oh wow, what did he do?
Yeah, he choreographed 2 ballets on us.
New?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. What was
It
he like
was
to work with?
it was amazing. The first piece was called Rust, and it's all men, and then the second piece is called Deepak Ane, and there's like 7, 8 of us or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Very
he
cool.
loves Graham, so it was just, he was having fun, we were having fun, and yeah, it was great. Matt Zach came, he is cool, and but the thing that I find too is that I think I enjoyed 3 of them so much also because they still show everything. It
Yeah.
might not be perfect, but they still are like on that floor getting down and dirty. Like, I don't know. It's just it's awesome.
You can keep dancing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
dance. Once you are a dancer, it truly is. You're never not. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you. I'm going to share some of the Graham clips on to the comments of this, so we can see you and have a larger appreciation for the work. You know, I think right now it's so the technique in the class is so relevant that we forget sometimes the eclectic amount of work that you guys do. So we're going to share some of that so we can tag this in.
Please let it not be a matinee.
Okay. Okay. I'll do my digging before I post anything. But thank you so much. You were such a gem and such a joy. And I will talk to you soon. Be well.
Thank you.